The buzz around the league has been growing louder with every passing conversation, and the kind of whisper that usually starts in tight circles has now reached the ears of fans everywhere. The talk is that the 49ers are quietly positioning themselves for what could be one of the most explosive offensive shifts in recent memory, with Saquon Barkley emerging as the centerpiece of that speculation. Sources close to the situation suggest that the idea of bringing Barkley over from the Eagles is not just a wild fantasy, but a calculated rumor fueled by internal admiration for his versatility and star power. The narrative being spun is that the 49ers see him as the missing ingredient to elevate an already feared ground attack into something truly generational. Coaches, according to the chatter, love the way his running style blends patience with raw burst, and they believe that his presence would force defenses into impossible choices. While nothing is official and everything remains in the realm of speculation, the mere possibility has ignited debates about scheme fit, locker room chemistry, and how this move could redefine the offensive identity. It feels like the kind of rumor that refuses to die because it makes too much sense to ignore. From the perspective of those who analyze football through a strategic lens, the potential marriage between Barkley and the 49ers system sounds almost poetic. The offense is already known for misdirection, physicality, and creating space through creative play design, and the rumors suggest Barkley would thrive in that environment. Insiders speculate that the coaching staff envisions him as more than just a traditional ball carrier, imagining packages where he lines up in multiple positions and keeps defenses guessing on every snap. The whispers claim that the front office has been monitoring his situation closely, impressed not only by his athletic traits, but by his resilience and leadership qualities. There is a belief floating around that a change of scenery could unlock an even more dangerous version of Barkley, one less burdened by expectations and more focused on execution. Fans are already picturing the way his explosive cuts could complement the blocking schemes, creating long, demoralizing drives. Even though this remains speculative, the excitement feels real because it aligns with the team's long-term philosophy of blending toughness with creativity. On the other side of the rumor mill, the Eagles are portrayed as a reluctant but realistic participant in this imagined scenario. The speculation hints that they might be considering a reshaping of their own offensive priorities, which opens the door, at least in theory, for discussions involving a high-profile running back. People close to the narrative suggest that the Eagles understand Barkley's value, yet they are also aware of the business side of football and the constant need to evolve. The rumor does not paint this as a simple farewell, but rather as a complex chess move where both franchises weigh future flexibility against immediate impact. Analysts debating this scenario emphasize that such a move would send shockwaves through locker rooms and fan bases alike. The emotional attachment to a star player is never easy to sever, and that tension adds fuel to the speculation. Still, the idea persists because football history is full of bold decisions that once seemed unthinkable. In this imagined storyline, the Eagles are not villains or victims, but strategic actors in a larger league-wide dance. What truly captivates fans is the thought of how Barkley's presence could alter the rhythm of games without ever needing to dominate headlines with flashy moments. The rumor paints a picture of sustained drives, exhausted defenses, and a psychological edge that builds quarter after quarter. Those who love the tactical side of the sport argue that a powerful run game is often the foundation of championship aspirations, and the 49ers seem to understand that better than most. The speculation suggests that Barkley would be used as a tone setter, someone who absorbs contact early and forces defenders to question their willingness as the game progresses. There is also talk about how his experience could elevate younger players, both through example and through the attention he commands from opponents. Even in rumor form, this narrative resonates because it speaks to the timeless appeal of physical football. It is less about highlight reels and more about imposing will, a concept that the 49ers fan base holds dear. The financial side of this speculative move adds another layer of intrigue, with whispers about creative structuring and long-term planning. Observers suggest that the 49ers have quietly prepared for a moment like this by maintaining flexibility and valuing disciplined roster management. The rumor implies that any potential agreement would be designed to balance immediate contention with sustainable success, avoiding the pitfalls that have haunted other franchises. There is also discussion about how Barkley's market value might be perceived differently within this system, where individual statistics are secondary to collective efficiency. This angle of the story fuels debate among fans who wonder whether star players are willing to trade personal accolades for a chance at something bigger. The speculation claims that Barkley, known for his team-first mentality, might find that trade appealing. While none of this is confirmed, the consistency of the whispers suggests that the idea has been explored more deeply than casual fans might realize. As the rumor continues to circulate, it has taken on a life of its own, inspiring endless conversations and hypothetical scenarios. The 49ers faithful imagine a future where defenses are stretched to their breaking point, while neutral observers simply enjoy the drama of a league where bold ideas never truly disappear. This speculation is not just about a player changing uniforms, but about a philosophical statement regarding how football can be played and won. The idea that such a move could even be considered speaks volumes about the ambition of the organization and the respect Barkley commands across the league. Even if it never materializes, the rumor itself has already succeeded in capturing attention and shaping narratives. It reminds everyone that in professional football, the line between fantasy and reality is often thinner than it appears, and sometimes the most compelling stories are born in the space between what is and what could be. In the second part of this story, the conversation naturally shifts toward how such a speculative acquisition would ripple through the locker room and the broader culture of the 49ers. Rumors suggest that teammates would welcome Barkley not only for his talent, but for the credibility he brings as someone who has carried heavy expectations throughout his career. The narrative being whispered paints him as a unifying presence, a player whose work ethic and professionalism could set a standard without a single word needing to be spoken. Observers imagine how his arrival might push others to elevate their own preparation, creating an internal competition that benefits the entire roster. This part of the speculation leans heavily on intangibles, the kind that rarely show up on stat sheets, but often define championship teams. Fans discussing this scenario often emphasize that the 49ers have always valued character alongside ability, and Barkley is seen as a natural fit in that regard. Even as a rumor, the idea resonates because it aligns with the identity the franchise has carefully cultivated over time. Another layer of intrigue comes from the tactical adjustments that such a move could inspire. The speculation suggests that defensive coordinators around the league will be forced back to the drawing board, rethinking how to allocate resources against an offense that suddenly has even more versatility. The chatter imagines scenarios where Barkley's presence opens lanes for others, not through trickery, but through sheer threat. Coaches might be tempted to load the box, only to find themselves vulnerable elsewhere, a dilemma that fuels endless film room debates. This imagined chess match is what excites purists of the game, those who appreciate the strategic depth that goes beyond surface-level excitement. The rumor frames the 49ers as a team willing to challenge conventions, leaning into balance and unpredictability rather than chasing trends. Barkley, in this story, becomes a symbol of that philosophy, a reminder that sometimes the most effective innovations are rooted in fundamentals executed at an elite level. The media narrative around such a hypothetical move would be relentless, and the speculation already hints at how storylines could evolve. Some voices would question whether investing heavily in a running back aligns with modern roster-building theories, while others would argue that exceptional talent deserves exceptional consideration. This debate, fueled by rumor, reflects broader conversations about the evolution of the sport. The 49ers, according to the speculation, are comfortable living in that tension, trusting their evaluation process and organizational vision. Barkley's imagined role becomes a talking point for discussions about adaptability and value, challenging simplistic assumptions. Fans consuming this narrative are drawn not just to the player, but to the confidence implied by the rumor. It suggests a franchise unafraid to stand by its convictions, even when those convictions spark controversy. From Barkley's perspective, as imagined by those spreading the rumor, the move represents a chance to redefine his legacy. The whispers portray him as a competitor eager to be part of a system that emphasizes collective success and physical dominance. There is talk about how a fresh environment could reignite his joy for the game, allowing him to play freely without the weight of being the sole focal point. This angle of the story appeals to fans who believe that context matters as much as talent. They imagine Barkley thriving amid creative play, calling, and a supportive roster, his skills amplified rather than isolated. Even though this remains speculative, it humanizes the rumor, turning it into a story about growth and opportunity rather than mere transaction. The broader implications for the league are also part of the conversation, as this rumored move would signal a shift in how elite running backs are valued. Analysts discussing the scenario suggest that it could inspire other teams to reconsider their own approaches, potentially sparking a renewed appreciation for balanced offenses. The 49ers, in this imagined role, become trendsetters rather than followers. Barkley's hypothetical success in such a system would serve as evidence that investing in the right player at the right time can still pay dividends. This part of the rumor fuels league-wide debates and keeps fans engaged even in the absence of concrete news. It underscores how speculation can shape perception long before any official announcement is made. As the rumor continues to swirl, it remains suspended between hope and skepticism, a testament to how compelling the idea truly is. The 49ers and Barkley, linked by whispers and what-if scenarios, occupy the collective imagination of the football world. Whether this story ever moves beyond speculation is almost secondary to the conversations it has already sparked. It invites fans to think about identity, strategy, and ambition in ways that go beyond a single player. In that sense, the rumor has already achieved something meaningful, reminding everyone why football discourse is as much about dreams and debates as it is about confirmed moves. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As the speculation stretches on, another angle that keeps resurfacing is how the fan base itself would react to a move of this magnitude. The rumor suggests an emotional split between disbelief and pure excitement, the kind of reaction only a true blockbuster possibility can generate. Supporters imagine the roar of the crowd at the mere sight of Barkley lining up in red and gold, even if only in their minds for now. The story being whispered emphasizes how this franchise has always thrived on iconic figures who embody strength and determination, and Barkley fits that archetype almost too perfectly. There is talk about jerseys flying off shelves, debates dominating call-in shows, and endless breakdowns on social media, dissecting every possible carry, cut, and collision that could come from this hypothetical union. Yet beneath the excitement, the rumor also acknowledges a thoughtful fan base that understands the cost of ambition. Some voices caution against expectations running too high, reminding others that football remains unpredictable. Still, the prevailing tone of the speculation is optimistic, rooted in the belief that bold ideas are what keep a franchise relevant and feared. Even as a rumor, the connection feels powerful because it taps into shared dreams of dominance built on physical football and relentless effort. Another fascinating thread in this ongoing speculation centers on how this move could influence future decision-making within the organization. The whispers imply that acquiring a player like Barkley would not be an isolated gamble, but part of a broader commitment to maximizing the current competitive window. Analysts discussing this scenario suggest that such a move would signal confidence in the roster and coaching staff, a belief that the foundation is strong enough to support an addition of this scale. The rumor paints a picture of calculated aggression, where the front office balances patience with timely boldness. In this imagined reality, Barkley becomes both a contributor and a symbol, representing a willingness to invest in proven excellence rather than potential alone. Fans intrigued by this narrative see it as a declaration of intent, a message sent not only to rivals, but to players within the locker room. It says that the organization is serious about pursuing greatness and willing to explore unconventional paths to get there. Even without confirmation, this layer of the rumor adds depth, transforming it from simple player movement talk into a reflection of organizational philosophy. Ultimately, what gives this rumor such staying power is how naturally it fits into the larger mythology of the sport. Football has always been fueled by stories of unlikely pairings and daring visions, and the idea of Barkley joining the 49ers feels like a chapter waiting to be written. The speculation thrives because it allows fans to imagine perfection, an offense humming with balance and brutality, a team imposing its will in subtle yet devastating ways. Storytellers within the community frame this rumor as a crossroads moment, one where tradition meets opportunity. Even skeptics find themselves drawn in, if only to argue the other side, which keeps the conversation alive. In that sense, the rumor has become a shared experience, something that unites fans through debate and imagination. Whether it fades quietly or erupts into reality, it has already left a mark on the collective mindset. It reminds everyone that football is not just about what happens on the field, but about the endless possibilities that keep fans dreaming long before anything is ever confirmed. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.